y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Lindsay, also known as Shadowplay MUA, and today we're going to be playing with one of my recent obsessions, the Makeup of Murder Neon Poison Pigments. So for those who haven't heard about these guys yet, Makeup of Murder is an independent brand and all of their products are themed around crime scene investigation. I don't know about you guys, but I can literally spend hours watching true crime documentaries. I swear if I ever committed a murder, I know everything not to do in order to avoid getting caught. That is a joke. Just kidding. FBI, do not come for me. So when I saw there was an entire makeup line based around crime scene investigation, I was like, shut up and take my money. The product that's probably the most hyped of theirs is the Neon Poison Pigments. These guys come in a set of 5 or 6 I believe, for $30, which is an insane deal for the amount of product that you're getting. I originally filmed a unboxing / first impressions video for these, but after a few weeks of working with them, I feel like I've kind of figured them out and I can offer a little bit more value to you guys on how to actually work with these. The first time I used them, I was kind of just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just putting this neon stuff on my eyeballs. But these do take a little bit of finessing to get used to. They're a little bit of a different animal to apply. They're not like regular eyeshadows. They're not like pigments that have shimmer to them or satin finish to them. They're really different because they're so matte and they're so high intensity. So with all that said, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with another product that I just got my hands on, the now infamous LOUISE base, and I got number 2. It's a pretty good match to my skin tone. And I'm gonna apply that with a MAC 270 brush. So the cool thing about these bases is that you're supposed to use them wet. Like, you're not supposed to set them with powder, which is what I've been doing for like years. And I've noticed that the pigments, especially these neon ones, they really do grab on better when the base is wet. My only beef with the LOUISE base so far is that it's not as opaque as I thought it was going to be. So I usually do like 2 layers. So the first color I'm gonna go in with is the neon yellow. This is like a highlighter and it's like the most mind-blowing thing ever. I found that the best brush to use with these pigments is the MAC 217. It's flat, but it's still kind of fluffy. So I've noticed that you can't really like buff these pigments in the same way you would with like a regular eyeshadow, because they kind of just disappear if you do that. So you have to kind of like pack. And the good thing about this brush is that it's still soft enough to give you like a nice diffused edge without losing any of that color vibrance. So I'm just going like halfway through my crease. And that's like 3 coats. Holy crap, my face looks so pale under these lights. So next up is my favorite, the neon green. So one thing I've noticed too about these pigments is that you can't blend 2 colors together the same way you would with a normal eyeshadow. You kind of have to just pack it on and then pick up a little bit more of the other color and just overlap them, and that kind of helps to create more of a seamless transition. But you can't just sit here and like buff, buff, buff. Like, it's just gonna take away layers and make it look patchy. I'm going back in with a little bit of yellow in the center where these 2 blend together. So that is the crease color so far. So I do want to add a little bit of dimension, like right in here before I cut my crease. So I'm gonna go in with the dark green shade from my Morphe 35S. And this is a MAC 221 brush. It's a nice small blender brush. So when you're blending a regular eyeshadow over top of these pigments, you literally want to use the lightest pressure imaginable, or else you're just gonna wipe all of that pigment off and it's gonna get patchy. That is one thing I learned very quickly with these. I just want to hit that little deep crease area right in there so it doesn't look so flat. Okay, so now it's time to cut this crease. I'm gonna mix two of the P. Louise base together. I'm gonna use the yellow and the white. There's two reasons for that. One is I don't want this to be a super yellow cut crease, and the yellow is really orangey, so I'm not really looking for like that tone. I want to lighten it up a little bit. And also because the yellow comes out the weirdest consistency. Like it's like chunky, and I've heard a couple other YouTubers talk about this too. It's not the same consistency as the other bases. So mixing it with the white is just gonna make it a little creamier and easier to work with. And I really hope they figure that out soon, because I was really excited about the yellow. That's the one that I had the most high hopes for. And it's letting me down. So I'm mixing these guys up. So that is about the tone that I want for this. It's kind of an ugly color, but it's gonna get covered up anyway. So I'm using the MAC 248 brush to cut my crease out. Okay, so for the center of the lid, I want this neon yellow to be like the most sickening neon you've ever seen. So I'm gonna use a MAC 242 brush. This one is just soft enough and not stiff enough to where it's gonna diffuse those colors nicely, but you're still gonna get the maximum thickening neonness out of it. That's totally a word now. Just gonna pack that in the center of this cut crease. Woo! So notice this yellow is like the trickiest to work with out of all of the neon pigments. I think it's just so UV reactive that it's a little finicky. It gets patchy the easiest out of all of them, I will say. I place that in like a strip right down the center. So next I'm gonna go into the inner corner and the outer corner with the neon orange. This one's one of my favorites too, it's so good. I feel like they're all my favorite though at this point. And here comes the fallout. Fallout is always going to happen with pigments, so I'm impressed that this is all I have so far. I'm back in with the yellow again to create a little more seamless blend between those two colors. One thing I've noticed too, I don't like using these wet, so I don't like using them with like Fix Plus or anything. It just made them like congeal and get really gross and patchy. And then lastly for the lid, I'm gonna go in with the neon pink and the outer corner and inner corner. I really hope my camera is picking up how bright these are, but I doubt it because my camera is shit. And then back in with a little bit of the orange. Okay, now for my wing, I'm just using Blacktrack by MAC on a MAC 208 brush. Okay, so I'm cool with this wing. It's not the best wing ever, but this isn't a wing tutorial. Alright, so for the bottom lash line, I'm going to take the blue P. Louise base all along my waterline, smudge it out a little bit underneath, and then add a little razzle dazzle on the inner corner. So when I found out that these were waterline safe, I was really excited but really scared at the same time. I figured out the best tip for working with these safely is to pull down your eye a little bit and pull towards your lashes. This is going to keep it from getting that close to your eyeball to where it has the risk of getting in your eye and making you have a blue eye forever. Okay, maybe not forever, but it would still be unpleasant. So I'm kind of tapping it and then pulling it into my lashes. So I feel like this blue is the least neon out of all these pigments. It's kind of close to like a royal blue. And then I'm gonna wing this out. So now I'm going to dip back into that yellow and white mixture I made with the P. Louise bases. And we're going to do this little notch right on the inner corner. There's another thing that never turns out pretty, like the first time I do it. I always have to clean it up. No, it's actually going okay so far. And then I'm going to do that little extra wing right in between the blue and my black wing. And now I'm going to pop that yellow pigment right over top of that base again. I feel like this is going to come out different than the other one, because I did the other one like 4 hours ago. But I will. Nope, it's close enough. And then I'm just gonna bring that liner down a little bit more. Just a smidge. And I'm just grabbing my 212 brush again, and I'm gonna make this into a little more of a point. Alright, so that's pretty much the eye. I'm gonna pop some lashes on. So these lashes are MAC 6s and 3s stacked. And I'm digging this combination lately. Can I also point out that I used the scariest pair of tweezers ever to apply my lashes? They're literally razor sharp. I can't believe I haven't stabbed myself yet. Do not try at home. Get yourself a proper pair of lash applicators. Do as I say, not as I do. Alright, so this is the eye. I'm gonna go ahead and do my brows and skin off camera just so this tutorial doesn't take 8 hours. I'm actually gonna use the pink and purple Neon Poison pigments for my brows instead of my usual Morphe 35S palette. And just to give it that extra punch, I shall be right back. Alright, I am back with the finished look. Before I jump into the review, I do want to take a minute to mention this lip. This is the MAC Bling Thing liquid lip color, and this came out with the Get Blazed collection, I think in April, I want to say. And this is like my absolute favorite liquid lip ever. This is Commotion Motion. It's the hot pink shade, and it just gives me life. I know you're supposed to have like a focus feature, you know, just like maybe a dramatic eye and like a nude lip, but we don't do that on this channel. These are actually 40% off right now, which makes me sad because that means they're discontinued and they're gonna be gone forever. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and turn these lights off, and we're gonna turn the black light on, and we're gonna see how this performs under black light. All right, so here is the final result, and we are glowing to the gods. Ooh, even my highlight's glowing a little bit. This makes me feel so magical. All right, let me turn the lights back on, and I'm gonna do a final verdict on the Makeup a Murder Neon Pigments. Haha, did you get my pun? A murder pun, ha! All right, lights are back on. Let me give you my final opinion on the Makeup a Murder Neon Poison Pigments. So my overall impression of these guys is obviously very positive. They just take a little bit of practice to work with, and the right tools are absolutely vital. I'm gonna list everything I used in the description box. The brushes make the biggest difference in the world with these. My only pet peeve with these is the bottles, which is unfortunate because they're so stinking cute. These are a pain to dip into. I've literally been taking the cap off and like picking up some of the product that's on the cap, because if you dunk your brush in here, it's the most messy experience of your life. And B, these are very fragile. They are glass. I discovered how fragile these are on the first day I got them because I immediately knocked one over. It shattered all over the floor, and it looked like an absolute massacre. And I was like, of course, it was the red one. So I might get some empty pigment containers and just repot these for convenience, because I just don't trust myself with these. I keep being so afraid I'm gonna knock one over and shatter it, and I'm gonna be so upset. So that's the tea on these. They're absolutely approved by me. Go out, get some. I'll link them in the description box below so you guys can go check them out, and I'm gonna list all the other products I use too. Thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here. Give me a like on this video so I know I'm doing something right. And until next time, peace out.